So let's get into this, and let's just go back a little bit in time. Talk about the Ultimate Fighter 14, going through the tryouts and everything to get into the house.
Well, it was very interesting. I obviously I had a little bit of help because Len Bentley was on season 13, so he gave me a little insight on what I needed to prepare for. He mostly just said, be yourself, but be outgoing, and I did what I did to obviously make it. There was a few interview processes, the initial tryout with the grappling and the boxing, which is really simple. I mean, it's like literally took 15 minutes to do it all. Over 400 people tried out, and, a little nerve-wracking, but, I just was trying to be myself, and obviously it was more than enough to make it on the show.
Then just talk about the fight to get into the house.
I was actually wanting the fight to get in the house because they keep it a secret the whole time. They don't really tell you if you're going to fight or if you're just automatically in the house, People come in, and they said, you got to fight to get in the house. I was like, great, because I really feel you needed to earn that spot or prove to people that you deserve to be in the house, just being able to walk into the house, I didn't think was right. So, I was glad for the opportunity to prove myself to get into the house, prove the real fighters.
What was the worst thing about the house and the best thing?
I really didn't have any bad experiences with the house. I had a good time. All the pranks were fun. We had something called the list, which is you had like 10 blank spots every morning that you could write whatever you wanted to eat or whatever. People bought wigs or they asked for all kinds of crazy stuff, and they were pretty lenient and got us almost anything we wanted. Except for product placement stuff. That was the best thing. That list. I can't come home and tell my fiance, write down a list, like, get me all this stuff. Definitely wouldn't happen.
Nice, man. So after you got out of the house, you had a few months to prepare for your fight at the Ultimate Fighter finale?
Almost 3 months.
Okay, this season the guys had 1 week. How would that have been for you?
Man, that's a true testament. I believe that's what the Ultimate Fighter should have been from the very beginning. Obviously they weren't able to do it, but it truly proved who the Ultimate Fighter was. They ran off the premise that it was real and live reality, and they showed us 6 weeks getting into it, and they spread it out through 12, and then we fought in the finale when in reality we had 3 months to train. Whereas these guys, that is the toughest thing. I give it up to Mike Chiesa for winning 5 fights in a row, in a matter of 13 weeks, and then, fighting in the semifinals and then a week later fighting the finals, They got no rest, no recovery, that's all heart and determination right there. I thought it was great, I thought it really proved who the true Ultimate Fighter was. Just
talk us through your fight in the house.
With Dodson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I worked construction full time. I knew I had the skills, and I obviously still have plenty to learn. But I just wasn't in the caliber fighting shape I should have been. I didn't get the best training in the house. The 2-a-days weren't great. I wasn't getting in any better shape, and most of the guys that came in were already pretty much world class athletes. Dodson's a world class athlete. He was a top flyweight in the world. Same with Godno and all those guys. All those guys were true professionals, and I consider myself semi-pro. And so I went in that fight just fighting as hard as I could, and as people could see, I was too exhausted to do what I needed to do. But I thought I fared pretty well. I thought I could have gone to a third round. I thought I did more than enough to do it, and I thought it wasn't completely boring. I've shown that I'm a much more exciting fighter because when I'm in shape. But I just did what I could, and it is what it is. I wasn't fully prepared to face guys at that caliber at that time.
We just had Roland on the show. Have some of the guys surprised you how well they've done or haven't done after the show?
Not really, because I expected them to do well. I believe most of the guys from the show are doing well. I talked to Sean Shelby about it, and he's never been more impressed. It was the first time they brought everyone back from the show to do the finale, and all the guys that have either won on the finale have continued to win after or do well, and even the guys that lost are, like Roland, he's doing a fantastic job, and I look forward to seeing everyone else fight. Like TJ, he did well. I think Dodson did really well in his fight because he fought a really weird, unorthodox guy, and he had a broken hand, and I think he won. So, I think it just showed how good our season was and how talented our fighters were. So I'm really not surprised how well everyone's doing.
Okay, just talk about the incredible performance you had there at the Ultimate Fighter finale, man. It was awesome.
Well, like I said, I was working full time, and then even after the show, I went back to work and worked for like 4 or 5 weeks, and then I just had this gut feeling like, man, they're going to call me back. They have to call me back. And, I did. I told my boss I'm pretty sure he's going to call me back. He was kind enough to lay me off, and I was able to train full time and prepare. And like my mindset was like, this is everything. This is your only chance. You go out there and give it your all, and that's what I did, and that's what I try to do every fight. Like, it might be a downfall on my side because I go out there and give it 100%, but I mean, I feel, that's where I'm at my best, giving it 100%, and I feel like I can win most fights. It put on a good show, people enjoyed it, and I came out the victor, so it was worth it for me.
Yeah, quick night.
Yeah, that's the best. 3 months of training for a minute of fighting. It's the best.
Moving on down the list here, we have the Menjivar fight next. Talk me through that one.
Well, I don't know, man. I've never been more excited to fight. Like, in my mind, I was fighting a legend. This guy, he was a true pioneer in the sport. He'd been fighting forever. He's fought some of the toughest guys. He only been finished once. And that was like in the beginning of his career. He didn't really lose to St. Pierre. That fight could have kept going. Same with Uriah Faber. He illegally kicked Faber, and that fight got in like that. He'd never been finished, and it was just like, I couldn't believe that I had the opportunity to fight someone that I looked up to and thought was an amazing fighter, and I went out there and I really put it on him, and I think it showed my caliber of a fighter. I belong fighting the tough guys, and I just had so much fun. Like, I had fun every second of that fight, fighting Ivan.
Well, then we reached present day almost. Talk us through this one.
Yeah, man, and I was really looking forward to fighting Bloodworth because I thought it was a great matchup, but the short notice fight didn't affect me really too much. I got to watch a little bit of video on Eric, and I understood that he's just a super tough guy and another guy that's hard to finish. And I thought it would be a great fight, and I thought we were putting on a pretty good show. I believe I was winning 4 minutes and 10 seconds of the fight. Like, honestly, I put the pressure. I was throwing the combos. I was hitting him the most. I got the takedown. I took his back, and then I got him in a triangle for over 2 minutes. Yeah, he was hitting me with not devastating, but he was hitting me, constantly hitting me. 15 punches to the face can really wear on you, but it's because I was trying to finish and I put myself in that position, and then obviously I transitioned to another submission to try to finish, and he got out of it, and he was pretty crafty on what he did, and by locking my head up so I couldn't sit up on him to reattach the triangle. And he dove for an armbar, and it was actually a really good armbar. Like, I'm not gonna say it was a bad armbar. He was on his hip, and he was torquing on it real good. But I mean, people that understand grappling and jiu-jitsu, he messed it himself up by putting his belly to the mat. And it's like, it's physics, man. And he can't bend my arm anymore. He can't drive my arm through that. And he doesn't have, I guarantee you, he doesn't have a strong enough core to turn his back up 90 degrees. So I was completely out of the armbar. Like, I was in a safe position. When he was on his hip, I will say it was tight and it was hurting. But he put me in a safer position by going to his belly, and I was out. And that's when Winslow came in and stopped it. And it was so shocking to me that, like, I wasn't angry, like I didn't know what to do. That's why I sat there on my knees with my hands up, like I was begging for money, going, what? It was like, some people don't understand that this is my livelihood. You as a fighter want to fight in the UFC, and that's the only place you want to be. And like, she could potentially ruin that. She could end that just by making a bad mistake. It's not like it's not like an amateur fight where you lose a fight and you get another chance. It's like I could lose a fight and then be out of the UFC. So it was really heartbreaking. Like, it was it was hard to take.
Okay, man. So what's your opinion on Kimmy Baby?
Oh, I don't have any ill will towards her. I think repping is almost as hard as the fighting aspect. Fighting is the hardest thing you could do. But I mean, being a ref and being a conscious good ref, I think is pretty difficult. And that's why I'm a big fan of people that used to fight being refs, or people that are in the sport being refs. because I mean, if you watch the video, she's not even in a good position to understand where my arm's at in danger. She was on the backside. All she saw was his back and my head. She didn't understand where my arm was in the position, you know, and also understanding that I'm transitioning into a reverse, that I was completely out of danger, and that just takes someone that's either been fighting or has been a practitioner of some kind of martial art, you know, whereas like she just did her classes or whatever and got her certification.
So how did you find out you were still getting your win bonus?
That was crazy. It was actually all my Twitter followers were like, help me out with that. They go, man, you need to read Dana's blog or Dana's tweets. They're like, man, you're so lucky you get your win bonus. Dana's so awesome. I'm like, well, that sounds awesome, but like I've never heard anything. And then I tweeted that, and then someone tweeted me, well, just look on his tweets, you know, even though I follow Dana and it should have popped up. I don't know. I went on his tweets and I saw that and like, man, like honestly, I'm not a super emotional guy, but like my throat started swelling up. Like I almost was tearing up because I couldn't believe, like, you know, it was a good feeling.
Yeah.
Such a good feeling.
That's
like,
cool.
You know, he's the #1 guy in the UFC. Like everyone has their favorite fighters, but like everybody knows who Dana White is, you know, and if Dana's got your back, that's like just the best feeling in the world. Like I couldn't believe that, you know, he went out of it. Like he didn't need to. He doesn't need to give me that bonus. Like it was up to him to choose to help me out, because I mean, and that is a huge help. That win bonus really helps you out when you're not working and you're training full time.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Obviously, I fought 3 times in 6 months, which is my goal. I want to fight every 2-3 months, but I mean, some people can go a year without fighting, and like 8,000 in a year is not a lot of money.
Would you ever request to not have Kim Winslow as a referee for your fights?
You know, if I could make that request, I probably would. You know, like I said, reffing's very hard, and she's actually been reffing for many years. I remember she reffed one of my first pro shows. I went down there in Reno, and you know, she doesn't do a bad job, but she doesn't do a great job either. I mean, she's made more mistakes than the average ref, I believe. So if I had the option to ask for a ref, I definitely choose not to have her. But you know, it is what it is. My job is to go out there and just to fight and not. I should really have never been put in that position, but like I said, Eric was very crafty and got me in that position. But I was also out.
I'm forgetting the word I'm looking for here, but have you applied to the commission to see if they'll change it to a no contest?
Right now, my coach Dennis Hallman is writing up a really good letter. You know, he's a really smart guy, and he's really in analogies into it. You know, and you know, he says he wants to write it up real good, because the commission is really finicky about that stuff. And like, it could be cut and dry, clear cut, and they don't care, and they'll still not rule it over. Like, I mean, if you will look at the John Jones fight with the illegal elbow, you know, I think, you know, he wasn't really warned. It was one elbow that was illegal, you know, it was an accident, and they still didn't overturn it, you know, and I believe he won that fight, and he should be undefeated. So, I mean, you really got to word it right and say the right things, you know, and have the max amount of proof to show that, you know, you're in the right, so they could change it. I mean, look it up, see how many they've actually overturned compared to ones that they haven't.
Big fight coming up in Vegas in a week and a half here. We got Chael Sonnen, Anderson Silva too. Who you got?
Oh man, I definitely got Chael. I love Anderson. He was been one of my favorite fighters. You know, I respect everything he's done in the sport. He's amazing. I think he's definitely the best, if not one of the best of all time. But I'm a big fan of Chael. I don't emulate his fighting style exactly. Like, I'm not just a strict wrestler ground and pound, but I love his intensity, and I love how he gives it his all. For 15 to 25 minutes, he's not stopping. And that's how I like to fight. Like, there's nothing I hate more than watching a fighter go 15, 25 minutes and then doing push-ups after their fights. Like, you obviously weren't fighting. That's what he does. He goes in there to fight, and that's what I love about him. Chris Lytle and Dan Hardy, some of my favorite fighters recently, you know, because that's what they do. They go out there and they give it their all, and that's all I want to do. So I got Chael, and I think he can do it. You know, obviously Anderson's going to improve on his game, because that's what any good mixed martial artist will do. He'll keep improving on his game and his wrestling, probably his wrestling defense, and, you know, same with Chael. He's going to improve his striking. but I just feel that Chael wants it more. I really do.
When can we expect you back in the cage?
Well, I'd like to get in there in August. My coach told Sean that I wanted 6 weeks off, but I don't want 6 weeks off. You know, I already started training last week, so I'll take an August fight. I'd love an August fight. That's what I'd hope. And, you know, as soon as I get the call, I'll let everyone know. But hopefully August. I'd like to get a late August fight because that way I can transition right into my wedding in September, and then I just take a real break, you know, and not.
How about the show in Vegas September 1st?
I don't think my fiance would be too happy about that.
Oh, is that when you're getting married?
I'm getting married September 8th.
Yeah, maybe not. She might not go for that one.
If I look at anything like I looked at my last fight, she would not be happy. I thought it would be a great memory of all time. You know, that'd be something you could never forget. You know, having 2 black eyes for your wedding. But she was completely against it. So I'm hopefully looking to like the 28th fight in August or somewhere around there.
Yeah. Okay. Want to throw out your Twitter or Facebook?
Yeah. I don't know how to do the Facebook. Like my Facebook's just John Brian Albert. But you can follow me on Twitter at UFC Prince Albert. That'd be great. The more followers I can have, the better, you know. And I chat with everybody and anybody that wants to talk to me. You know, I'm not one of those guys that just looks for followers. You know, if you follow me and you talk to me, I'll talk right back.
Cool, man. Thanks for doing this, and let's talk again before your next fight.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Mark. Okay. Appreciate it.
See ya.